Hello everybody to a new AI tutorial on how to make your office work just a tiny bit easier. So with this particular workflow that I will show you later, you can just have one folder and then this AI will produce for you a report, basically, so a table that reports on each question that you ask. So if you for example want to ask how many people are in this in each of the images, it will just do this for you. And the crazy thing is it will do this for 5 images, but it can also do it for hundreds of images. So this is really something you should consider in your work, because at the moment you might say, okay, this is not possible for my company, or this is not possible because it's just we don't have the human power. But now with AI, such simple workflow tasks basically become very cheap if you know how to do it. So in this tutorial I show you how to do this. I'm using the free large language models from Grok all the time. I never paid a bill and I'm running this for 1 year already, and I really didn't hit the API request limits that often. I mean, for a normal user, AI is not really expensive at all. So yeah, I don't think you have to worry. But let's just dive into this. So here I list the phenomenal advances that I made with this smart folder to table. So I tackled a few problems. So the first is already in the first workflow. You can see it in the workflow up here. And the new one basically is using the same feature. And the third feature would be the column batching. This is also super useful because an AI only has so much attention. So it cannot focus on all the different things that it has to extract at the same time. So that means the more columns you want it to extract, the harder the task gets for the AI. And therefore you can basically say, okay, only do 5 columns at a time. And then it will make, for example, 3 batches of 5 columns if you have 15 columns. And so the new features for this workflow, of course, is that you only need to provide the folder ID, a spreadsheet ID also on Google Drive. And then the third thing is you define the columns, and that's it. The rest will be done by AI. And yeah, so it will also, if you have an error, then it will basically not rerun the previous entries, but just start there where it left off. So it now looks this up. Where did I stop? And we also have some fine control, like if you want to test stuff or you're kind of limited to the folder, maybe you cannot modify the folder, then you can basically define which files to include, or if you include all, like I do, you can also define which files to exclude. Or you can just say, okay, let's just run 5 of these items, and then I will look at them, and then we will run 5 again. This you can set with the file limit parameter. And I would say if you install this on your n8n server, it will only take you 15 minutes to completely do this. So either you watch this video or you just go to the setup guide and copy paste the workflows in there. So yeah, then you can see I already tried this once for these 4 images. These are some images here. Let's look at it. So that's Jensen. That's some virtual art that I generated for my LinkedIn post. This is also like a poster from a very famous movie. Another art project, and this is maybe you have known this, is like a benchmark for how good is AI at problem solving. This one is called ARC. I also looked at this. So for 6 images, it did like 4 mistakes. but it also performed really good. It is not, for example, person count, it never made a mistake. Faces, it never made a mistake. And so where did the LLM get it wrong is basically, for example, the cyberpunk image. So it displayed the code with glitch effects is wrong. It's not code, it's stylized text. And for the movie poster, the source hint should be AI generated, not a graphic design. But that is really hard to tell. I guess a human would also have problems with that. We need a specialized machine to find that out. This error is really, I cannot be mad about that. And okay, here we have another error. It's not a photograph, it's a graphic design piece. So that's the spectacles. I think I didn't show them. It's basically two AI generated pieces, and then I moved them together with a design tool. So it should not be a photograph. A human would have recognized that. Yeah, and the last is connected to this. So source hint should not be camera photo, AI generated, or graphic design. Graphic design would be fine too. Yeah, so this is also so you can see this is like edge cases, and this is where we are at the moment. AI is so good that we have really troubles to assess its performance. But let's look at the workflow now and how to set this up. So in general, we only modify the configuration node. And so if we open this with double click, we can see I already run this before. And if we want to run this for some other folder, we just delete this and we put our new folder ID there. So that would be this one. We can look in the URL, and just this last piece here, this is the folder ID, and we move it back into the smart table here in the configuration node. So I just copy paste this in here. Oops. And this one we also replace with a new. So the spreadsheet ID, I would say we just make a new one. So press Ctrl and click on Drive, or you just open your Drive home, and you can then go to your Drive, and here you make a right click and you can go to this, click, and you have a new one. And it's basically the same like in the folder URL. Here also in the sheet URL you have the ID here. So we copy this and we passed it into our workflow. Okay, so this is everything we change here, but if you want, you can really change a lot more. So for example, the data sheet name at the moment is just sheet 1, right? So that's the default. And so this one, oh sorry, sheet 1. And then we have the rate limit wait seconds. So we also, you might wonder why is there always this JSON stuff in here? Why is it not just the 0? You can see here it's 0, and you can also see here it's 0. So this is because basically this workflow is designed so that we have an integration. So either you can configure your values here, or another workflow sends in information through this node here. So that's why we always have like this $JSON folder ID and then these two pipes. They are called pipes, and they say this or the other one. And so if this is not provided, we'll just switch to the other one. And so this goes down. This is 0, and source file columns. This is source file. So there will be a column later which will auto-created by the workflow, which is called source file. And then here file include, we have all, and files exclude is like if you would have one of these placeholders, then they would be excluded. We can leave this. File limit, we have 0, so there's no limit. And schema sheet name is description high F7, 7F6. And match same row is false. So now it will not match the same row. So it will just append a new row all the time. This we will set later to true. So at the moment, match column, again source file. So on which of the columns will be used to align the new information and write it in that row where it matches the string in this column, source file, and the batch size. So batch size you can also change if you want. And so now, again, in this configuration node, we set this up, but at the moment our sheet is still empty. So we haven't defined which columns or which information we want to extract. So I would say we just use the same that I used for testing previously. So I copy paste them. So this is image type, primary subject, action happening. If there is an action happening, for example, Jensen Huang, the CEO of NVIDIA, standing on the stage. Let's see what action he's doing. And key objects, visual complexity, source hint. I'm not sure what this is, but the AI will tell you in a second. Person count and faces visible. Okay, let's run this. We click here, and it will run it for all files in the folder. And at the moment, I would say we just test like the first 3. So we move these things, or we can also test the PDF. I think we are interested in the PDF as well. And we're also interested in the comma separated file. So let's run these 5. This will take a little bit, but yeah. So I click here, execute workflow. And as I said the first time, it runs this. And this generates a table. This is the description high 7 F6. And now it runs, you can see there is like 1 item, and here it takes 5 items. And because we didn't restrict it on which items it should use, it uses all of them, but otherwise it would filter here those that we don't want. So now it's pretty fast. Wow, I'm happy. So good. This ran 2 times. Let's see, this is the 3rd time it's running. And in the meantime, we can look at this file that was generated. So here, this is already 2 times output. And it generated this file here. And it also generated these 2 column headers. So let's mark this as yellow. I want to move it over here. So it did 4 times. It's now the last time, and we just wait until it's done. And then, oh, good. Okay, so for 5 items, we already have it. And if we now go to the table, sheet 1, so the image type, so this is also a problem right now that we would have to modify, I mean, we are extracting an image type for a file which is not an image, so it got diagram, but we ask the AI something which doesn't make sense, so it will not get it right. It's really hard. Okay, so then the primary subject here in this table would be LLM models performance ranking, which is correct. I mean, this is what's the table about. I didn't show it, but yeah, I might show it in the video. But yeah, so we're more interested in the images. So these are the images, and these are the file name. The first image is, it's a photo, which is correct. And Jensen Huang with a small bipedal robot, which is pretty good. The action happening is Jensen Huang is standing on a dark stage and looking down at a small robot during a presentation. It's correct. Jensen Huang, small bipedal robot, black leather jacket, black trousers, stage, handheld remote controller clicker. I mean, this is really impressive. I didn't even see this. And this is kind of interesting information in the ongoing debate on, yeah, what is AI? Is it not just remote controlled? So yeah, I mean, I didn't see this when I was watching the video, but it's pretty clever. AI is pretty clever sometimes. So visual complexity is moderate, and the source hint, yeah, actually I don't even know what's the source hint. So let's check in the description. Source hint. Source hint. String. Hint about image origin. Okay. Yeah, I mean, this is what AI thinks a source hint is. If you want to change this, you can simply modify this description, and the next time you call it, it will be the large language model will do the task as you instruct in this description field. So it will always get this context. And yeah, so I have shown you this with one of my data sets now, but if we took it this more realistic scenario, it would be, for example, so a person at home doing inventory and seeing, oh, I have so many clothes, let's sell some in the internet. And of course, then you have to make a description for each of the pieces, which is kind of if you have many clothes, or if you do this for multiple people, then this will get kind of a laborious task. And also maybe you're not that good at English, but you have to sell it in the English market. Also, if you have like a art office and you have images and you need to make a database of the images, yeah, just make a folder, and you will get out this metadata information about each of the image. And yeah, it really moves the frontier of what is actually doable with your time and your resources, because now this is so cheap. This is a million times cheaper than hiring a human to do it for you. And also it's faster because you don't have to communicate and organize all these things. You simply you do these 3 or 4 steps that I showed you. Like, it's the folder ID into the config node, it's the sheet ID into the config node. You also have to put all the files in the folder, but I mean, we assume you already have done that. And define the columns. So how can you set this up is you go to this GitHub page that is also in the description below, and then we just go here, we copy this, copy raw file. Okay, it's copied. And we basically go to our n8n instance, and we just make a new one, so workflow. and Control V again. These red triangles, they're just the credentials that are missing. That's super easy, super fast. We just click on it, it's gone. Click on it, it's gone. And here as well, our language model, we just use the OpenAI. It's for free when we use the Grok, because they are producing their own chips, and these chips are so good and so fast that NVIDIA now invested a lot of money in them. Here we click again. And so, okay. Then here, basically, you also need this workflow. So this is, you can see, this is basically a workflow, but you can also build it that it's a sub-workflow. So if we look at this portion of the workflow, it's a workflow. But if we look at this trigger node and the rest, then it would be a sub-workflow. And so basically what happens is here we call a sub-workflow. We call another sequence of nodes. And we also have to install that file. So that I show you now. That's basically the third project. And here is also the workflow, any file to JSON converter. We copy this. And we make another new workflow and dump it there. Control V. Okay, it looks a bit complicated, but it's really, really simple. It's just we send the file in, and we translate it into the schema that is also defined already. And it's very simple, so it will decide what kind of file it is, and then it either takes something deterministic here, or it uses the AI, and yeah, basically if it's an image, it has to use the AI, or it works even for a WebP file. So that's under construction, but it's working really well. So what we have to do is we also remove the triangle, because we have an account, and then it's ready. We simply click here on publish and click here again and got it. And now you can see, okay, this workflow is now callable by the other workflow. And that's our main workflow. And if we double click on this, and now we can go down here. And this is the workflow 13. So workflow 13. In your case, you can already rename it. I advise you so. And if we go out and click again, it loaded the values. So in extraction here, we need to have this. It's kind of an expression. And this is not there at the beginning. But if you do the correct sequence, it will be automatically there. This was our previous project, and I already prepared another folder. So with the images of the clothes. So this is, now I upload this here. And we can use this folder ID. Passed it here. Good. And then we also need to define the sheet that we want to write to. We name it wardrobe to sell. And we're looking at what information we want to extract. For example, it should give it a title, it should give it a category, it should give it colors, condition, like how often did I wear it or something, and price suggestion. So it should do all this for us. Take the ID here and passed it in here. And so for me, yeah, we can run it for all the files, but let's run it just for 3 files. So here we put a 3. And then actually I want to exclude one of the files. Maybe let's say we exclude this one. Okay, then we should only run it for 2 if we really want to test it. So we make here a 2 and we say exclude this one, webp, and then we have to make a comma and if you want a space. So let's look if we forgot something. And now we have 4 files here going into the filter, outcome 2. Seems it works. This basically is the task, and yeah, it's very generally applicable to a lot of problems. And I also intend to give this kind of capability to my Home Assistant, because it's just useful to have a function which is like deterministic. You know exactly what it is doing. It's kind of dangerous if you let it free, if you give it too many options to decide what to do. And this way you know exactly and have precise control over what it's doing. This is the new one. This is the new output. Actually, I'm negatively surprised from this. I mean, okay, there is just 1,500 condition used. It's not very analytical information. So let's look at this. Okay. I guess none of this is worth more than $1,000. I think it analyzed this one and this. Okay, title it was fine, but here really the categories are a little bit off. So electronics, clothing, home, beauty. So now we basically can refine this. Definitely we have to change that this should be in US dollars, and also the conditions, we would like to have a little bit of more diversity. So let's go to Claude. Please update the descriptions. So this is what it did, and if we tell it like this is a very common nomenclature, so it will immediately know what this is and what it has to do with this. So I will just pass this here too. Now this was the old structured output. Okay. I will suggest us something to improve. Okay, these are much better classes. Replace it here. And new with tag like new, good, fair. Okay, that's also some conditions that make more sense. And so here the description is crazy short. That's unusual, but we also should update that when we update the classes. So I will do that. Sorry for moving this, but it works faster this way. So this is this, and new description also goes in here, and garment type we will also use, and available color options. Yeah, I mean, it says a list, and yeah, I don't know whether it's useful or not, but yeah, this is much longer description. And now we can basically click here again, and it will also do the same 2 items again. I hope now we get better outputs. So this is like orange, yellow, black, red, cream. This is the 37 file. Yeah, I think that's a good output. Yep. And orange, yellow, black, red, cream. This is really crazy. I mean, to come up with these five tags is like, I would not have known Cream as a non-native English speaker. Yeah, I hope you had fun doing this together with me. I think this is really a good demonstration of a general application workflow for AI. Most of the time you will have this as one piece of your larger workflow, and so that's why I designed it this way, because yeah, you have these parameters in this node which you can change, and then depending on your use case, basically this sequence of nodes will always stay the same. And what probably will then happen is that you will attach something here, because this is the done output and this is the loop. So here is actually where this workflow stops. So it's like this kind of. And see you in the next one. Thank you for watching.